A $400 million flying palace is an unconstitutional gift to this president.
I don't think that President Trump, he doesn't need a bribe, okay?
They're giving us a free jet.
Are we in a post-constitutional society?
When they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole.
So as we all know that the news that have dominated the airwaves is Trump receiving a $400 million gift jet from the Qataris. Now, everybody had their own opinion on how they feel about it, right? If you're a Democrat, this is how they felt about it.
A $400 million flying palace is an unconstitutional gift to this president or any president if it is not explicitly approved by the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate. That's what the Constitution explicitly makes clear. There's no way around it as far as we're concerned. And so the president presumably is going to take that next step and seek congressional authority, which I believe we will clearly and decisively reject. It's an embarrassment. Literally, millions of people in this country are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. Can't afford housing, can't afford groceries, can't afford to pay their utility bills, can't afford child care, can't afford insurance. And Donald Trump is publicly defending, accepting a $400 million flying palace from a close ally of Iran and Hamas? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, which is why even some of his closest MAGA sycophants have made clear this is a plane too far.
Now, I hope the Democrats keep the same energy when it came to the Soros and all the gifts that the Bidens were receiving. The appointment of Joe Biden's son in Ukraine and all the deals that they have with China. I hope they kept the same energy. Now, if you're a Republican, this is how they reacted to the same story.
I got no problem with that. I mean, it's made in America, made by Boeing. I don't think that President Trump, he doesn't need a bribe, okay? And I think a lot of people are saying that. That has nothing to do with it. He needs a newer plane, 40 years old. I'm sure there will be some money exchanged hands, probably trying to pay for it, trying to make it, official. We don't like handouts, but at the end of the day, they're trying to be nice with an American-made product. Let's go for it.
Now, what we do know for sure is that the Republicans did not keep the same energy when it came to the Democrats. So what am I trying to say? Each side is playing ball that favors them. Now, for Trump was asked about this issue and why he collected this gift, and this is what Trump said.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why not?
Only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. There was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully.
So what we do know is that Trump, he is not ashamed of his game. And to me, that's part of the reason why I appreciate him, right? Because he will do it in front of you. The Democrats, they will hide behind the scenes, come out as holier as thou, right? But what we do know is they are full of corruption. But Trump will come out in front of you, do the meme coin, do the deal, do all that, and tell you, hey, it is what it is. Now, the people that have had this conversation are my two favorite people, Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schulz. And this was on their latest podcast, The Brilliant Idiots. And Charlamagne brought up this topic, to which Andrew Schulz called a pay for play. Let's check it out.
Are we in a post-constitutional society?
Oh, wow. Here we go. In what way?
It don't matter if you're a Democrat. It don't matter if you're a Republican. It don't matter if you're an independent. It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter if you're white. It don't matter if you're gay. It don't matter if you're straight. It don't matter what your gender is. You're an American.
Yep.
Now, we know that this country has been flawed. We know that, this country has not, worked for everybody the way that it should. But there is a document called the Constitution that we hope everybody abides by, especially our elected officials. When we have a president who is clearly not abiding by it.
Yep. What is he doing?
Well, I mean, we can start with his latest one, the plane.
Is that
the gift from
unconstitutional?
Qatar. Absolutely.
Really?
It says in the U.S. Constitution, clear and plain, you cannot accept gifts from a foreign government, king, or something else.
So here's my thing about that. I agree with it. I don't think that they should do it. And I think that we should take that ruling and we should apply that to the universities like Harvard that accept tens of millions, maybe to the tune of hundreds of millions from these other countries in the exact same way. I think there should be a restriction from foreign governments.
No, it is a restriction.
Well, why? I don't think that they are the same, but I think that the same concern we have of them potentially bribing a president should be reflected on bribing our elite institutions.
True.
I agree with that.
Because it could affect the things that are taught in those schools.
Yep.
It could affect the placement and the acceptance of certain students. Like, it seems to me that there's a pay-to-play problem with Trump here with the plane, right? It's the idea is, hey, we're going to give you this plane. Why don't you be nice to us?
I agree with that.
So,
but hey,
but I also want that same rule to apply. And I don't want to be like, what about this? I agree with you. It's a very good criticism. But let's also apply that to these institutions that have been taking tens of millions of dollars for fucking decades and nobody says shit. And then all of a sudden we find out that there's some Chinese spy that's taking things back to China from Harvard. Do you remember he got arrested at the airport? They were like doing research at the facility and then he gets arrested on his way back. I might be butchering this, but what I'm trying to say is like that same thing should be applied across everything.
yes, but I'll tell you one thing. That is very light compared to a president of the United States of America taking that gift. And listen, I'm not even forget the bribery. It's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And it's a national security threat. Chris said something the other day.
I agree. I feel the same way when like
What if they bug the plane?
What if they bug the fucking plane?
No, I agree. I think
What if it's a bomb that they can just detonate at any moment?
I don't know if there's that many people who are supporting this. Like I agree.
Oh, no,
I think or there should be criticism.
It's funny that Andrew is saying that we should not do whataboutism, but then that's all he's been doing the whole time. And it's not just him. Both sides actually do it. You know what I mean? Like, when you approach one side, they say, what about the other side? They do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so funny just watching him do the same thing and say, hey, we shouldn't do whataboutism. You know what I mean?
Some of this, just in the same way that there was criticism of like Hunter Biden's kid being appointed
Absolutely.
a position
Great
at a
points,
Ukrainian
great points.
oil
Absolutely.
company or like gas company. So like, yes, there should be these limitations because there is fear that you could be either funneling money through it or there could be influence.
Yep.
As Nikki Haley said, if this was the Biden administration, everybody would be furious.
And they were.
Well, she said we'd be furious.
But
so I
they
guess
were during the Biden administration. So I think it is a good. What is the Trump administration's justification for doing it? Have they said anything?
Stupid not to take it.
Yeah, that's what he said. He literally said, he said, oh, you want us to pay for it? He said, you want us to spend $500 million? He said, I'd be stupid not to take it.
That's my guy.
Literally what he said.
I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too.
That's it.
And it helps us out because, again, we're talking about we have 40-year-old aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy-top is astronomical. You wouldn't even believe it. So I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down
A gift.
that kind of an offer. I mean, I
Yep.
could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane.
What is he doing with the plane?
It's going to be their new Air Force One.
Yeah. And then after that, it's going to be donated to his life.
You know what they should do? They should use the plane to bring the.
I'm not gonna lie yet. The press conference from Trump just reminds me of when he was campaigning against Hillary, right? And she said, "Oh, you're evading tax," and he said, "Well, you guys actually set the rules and everything. So if you didn't set the rules, I wouldn't be doing it. So it is what it is." That was so classic.
Those South African white refugees to America.
Hey, yo,
That's what they should use the plane for.
We didn't even talk about that. It's been a great week for white Africans. Shout out to Cooper Flag, yo. White African win #1 in the motherfucking draft, and nobody said nothing, yo. By the way, the Dallas Mavericks. What is Trump going to tweet about that?
That shit is.
No, but are we in a post-constitutional society?
I mean, it depends. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
The Constitution should not be flexible.
But it is. Does it say in the Constitution you're not allowed to accept a $500 million plane? 500 million?
Yes.
500 billion.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't even talking about the meme coin, which to me
is even more
outrageous.
So this is okay. So the I think rational take would be like, hey, politicians should not be able to accept bribes from Americans or other countries. The same criticism we have about campaign finance, right? Which is like, you shouldn't allow these corporations to funnel exorbitant amount of money into certain candidates because they're going to have a competitive advantage. The Trump coin thing is very interesting because I don't know if he starts it, but his family starts it, right? And the idea is, but his family's like on the board of payouts. So once it hits certain numbers, they get money. Is that right?
I think that's the setup. But I mean, we were talking earlier, right, about who won the tariff war between Trump and China and why did Trump suffer? Well, the company that just bought $300 worth of his meme coin is connected to the Chinese government. They say in their offerings that the Chinese government has a degree of control over the company. He cut a side deal for himself.
Yo, he's getting rich. He's getting rich.
He's exactly who I've always said he is the bottom line.
So here's the question, right? Yeah. What you're saying, everything that you're saying is 100% legitimate criticism, right?
Yes, but the U.S. Constitution prohibits government officials from accepting gifts from any king, prince, or foreign state.
I believe. So and then the pushback that you're going to get from anybody that is defensive of it is he's removed the veil. Meaning, this is what all presidents, right and left, have done.
Absolutely.
Right. The Clinton Foundation does the same thing.
So the Clinton Foundation, when Hillary is the Secretary of State or something like that, I forget what it was, they were getting donations to the tune of like $50 million a year.
Go back to doing it sneakily.
Well, or 250. The second she stops being Secretary of State, they shut down the foundation. So some people go, oh, this was just a vessel to get influence within the administration. And what people say is back in the day, they did it sneakily. And what Trump is doing, he's doing it in your face. Like, for example, Nancy Pelosi trades with insider information for decades. We all criticize it. We say it's wrong. Trump goes, yo, Monday's going to be a crazy day. I'd buy some stocks if I were you. People go, how is he doing this? Is insider trading. There are a lot of people, I imagine, on Trump's side that go, well, finally, he's letting us get in on it.
That's a fact, though. Because Nancy Pelosi, that has been like the accusations on her and her husband. They do inside trading and all that shit. And they are raking and making shitloads of money, right? I'd rather my president, come out and say, hey, listen, tomorrow is going to be Boom's Day, So if you want to buy some coins right now because you're going to be cashing out tomorrow. Shit. He's putting some money in my pocket. I'd rather that than some politicians fronting like they are holier than thou, while she and her husband are just raking it. To me, that's been selfish, man. Let all of us eat, man. Let all of us eat, bro.
Before it was just Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Now he's letting everybody get a fair shake. What I think the best criticism is none of it should happen. You shouldn't accept the plane. Nancy shouldn't get insider trading. What we're doing is unconstitutional.
Trump's is a little different, but yes. And look, you can say...
Why do you think Trump's a little different?
Because she's using inside information that she has that's not available to the public to get these great tips or deals. He's manipulating the entire fucking market. To get what he wants. It's a bigger play. I mean,
I wouldn't say he's manipulating the market. what I would say is in this Trump coin is that he's creating a vehicle.
No, I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about it all. But like, I mean, look, you could say.
I guess I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, this is a great opportunity for us to reform the way people in positions of political power, right and left, are able to accept like legal bribes. And if we make it a partisan issue, then we'll just have bickering from the left and the right about your side does it, but your side does it. When instead
that's why I don't think that's why
we should all just go, yo, both sides do it.
Agree, but
It's
this
wrong.
is a guy whose biggest campaign
you just got
platform.
a boner for Trump, bro. It's like he's doing the same.
Trump derangement syndrome. You get what I'm saying? They will always find a way to blame it solely on Trump. Nah, both sides actually do this. Let's criticize both sides if we're going to criticize. You get what I mean? Or we just, as long as they allow us cash in, we cash in. That's it.
Shit they all do, bro.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. He ran on draining the swamp.
Yes.
That's his biggest fucking platform. Drain the swamp. He's adding acres to the swamp. He's importing alligators. He's doing whatever the fuck. I mean, this is the biggest swamp you've ever seen.
I would disagree because I think that I would disagree on what the swamp is.
So what is the swamp?
The swamp is Diddy's chest after a night of
shoot, baby.
I thought the swamp was like permanent government. I thought the swamp were these people that were the quote unquote deep state, like the people that were making decisions without the behest of the American people. But that's
being
what I thought
funded
the
by
swamp
corporate entities. And the corporate money that you can't see.
So technically, they're the biggest swamp.
He's basically
they're not listening to Congress.
He got rid of the swamp and he goes, "It's just me now." So if you want,
that's right.
We should also disagree with.
Yes, they're not listening. They're not listening to Congress. They're not following the Constitution. They are the swamp.
But I think, unfortunately, people like, and I'm not saying that you're wrong to have these feelings. I think a lot of people have these feelings, but they have such a hard-on for Trump that they don't just go, hey, the system itself needs reform.
Yeah.
And we should use this as an example, along with examples that past Republicans and Democrats have done, to reform it all.
I want that, but I also just simply want an elected official who follows the Constitution.
Right.
By the way, clearly you can do corruption in the guidelines of the Constitution.
Unfortunately.
We've been seeing people do that forever. But this is the person that's just saying fuck the Constitution. I don't want to turn on my Sunday morning news and see a president say he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution.
Even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me. And they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Sorry, suspend habeas, whatchamacallit?
Habeas corpus.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is the thing about, like, and I don't want to seem like I'm defending because habeas corpus it's basically the right to hold somebody without charging them,
right.
Which unfortunately throughout American history, we have done. FDR did it with the internment camps during World War II. Lincoln did it during the Civil War. It is like fundamental. Upholding habeas corpus is fundamental to the American identity. We cannot hold you without charging with you. Once we do that, it's a tyrannical dictatorship. So I 100% agree with that. To say that he's doing something that is novel or threatening potentially to do something that's novel or different than past presidents that we look at as heroes, as American icons, I would say is unfair.
Well, the internment camps are definitely a stain.
Pardon?
The internment camps, not at the time they were accepted. We look back now and realize that was outrageous. And it was a money grab. All this shit is a fucking money grab.
What, the internment camps are a money grab?
Yeah, man. The Japanese controlled the most fertile parts of California.
Yeah, so obviously they've gone into other conversations and everything. So in my point, the both of them actually made great points. You get what I'm saying? I like what Andrew is saying and some of what Charlamagne is saying as well. You get me? Meaning, listen, if we're gonna call out the corruption, let's call it out on both sides and let's just eliminate it. You get what I mean? In an ideal world, we should stick to the Constitution. You get what I mean? But unfortunately, when both sides are in camps, pointing fingers at each other, you get what I'm saying? Like the Drake meme. And blaming each other. Then we have a problem. You get me? Now, if you're going to say that Trump is wrong for receiving the gift, you now have to say that Biden is wrong for all the shit that they were receiving from the Soros and all the deals that they were making with Ukrainians and the Chinese and everything. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's wrong, including the Clintons, Obamas. Everybody's wrong. You get what I'm saying? So obviously, let's keep it equal on both sides. You get what I'm saying? Listen, let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comment section. Watch these videos. Leave a like, leave a comment, and share these videos with your friends. Is your boy Toby. Salute.